Online, MattBlattNissan.com.
Sports is what we do.
You're in your car, you're in your house, you're wherever you are. You're a sports fan.
97.3 ESPN.
Because if you weren't a sports fan, you wouldn't be listening.
WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A town square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Blatt Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Eagles, Giants, round 3. We're getting you ready for the next hour here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Football Friday, Eagles pre the night before, Eagles, Giants, whatever you want to call it. We're here to talk about it, and I'll get you my picks for the entire slate of games this weekend here on 97.3 ESPN. Glad to have you guys on board the show today. Andy McNamara is back. Yes, Andy will join us coming up at 6:20. We'll preview all 4 games. Of course, there's 2 games tomorrow. There's 2 games on Sunday. We got you covered. Of course, Eagles football pregame coverage begins at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. We'll have full Eagles, Giants, and Merrill Reese and Mike Quick on the call right here on 97.3 ESPN FM. Then on Sunday, we have the doubleheader of action for you. Of course, the Bills and Bengals at 3 p.m., followed by the Cowboys and the Bucks at 6:30. As always, you can join the conversation. Your picks, your thoughts, 609-403-0973 is the text board. You could also DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. And I have the luxury to be able to not just listen to all the thoughts and opinions throughout the week of the experts, the players, the writers, the journalists, the pundits, all the different people. I don't just have that opportunity, but I get to come on here after the Sports Bash with Mike Gill every day, and I get to take off of what I also heard during those 4 hours. So I get the double whammy of being in a position to bring you guys thoughts and information. And I think that what we're in right now is similar to, for those who have seen it, the first Matrix movie, not the next 3 movies. Okay. We're not having a conversation about that now. We're talking about the very first Matrix movie where Morpheus offers Neo the red pill and the blue pill. And the opportunity is, hey, you take the one, you go back to your life, you say no to freedom, and you just go back to being a cog in the machine. You take the other pill and be ready for your mind to be open and blown. And I feel like it's almost a similar situation going on right now. The Eagles have an opportunity to break free of the doubters, to break free of all the people who have talked smack on them all year long. Because I don't care who you are. Getting to a conference championship game is in and of itself an achievement for any football team. You don't get there if you are a bad football team. It in and of itself is an accomplishment. So for the Eagles, you got to at least get there. To put your stamp and say, hey, we are the franchise that has been the not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, but 7 conference championship games in the last 20 plus years. Almost nobody can say that. For example, the Green Bay Packers, they've been to a few, right? I mean, they've lost 4 in the Aaron Rodgers era. Actually, they lost 5. Well, that was Favre. Favre was the one. So the Packers themselves have last 4 conference champions, but they've been the 5 and 6. Well, they won 5. So they've been the 7 like the Eagles. You and the Packers can stand alone. Nobody else can say that they got to the doorstep of the Super Bowl aside from you and them. Nobody else in your conference can say that. Even the Giants haven't been to the conference. Typically, when the Giants go to the conference championship, that means they're winning. They're going to the Super Bowl, right? You know, when they beat the Vikings in 2000, when they beat the Packers with Brett Favre, when they beat the 49ers, right? You know, typically when the Giants get to the conference championship game, that means they're probably going to the Super Bowl. It's almost like a lock stock kind of thing. So for the Eagles, you have the opportunity to choose freedom. But then there's the other pill, where the Eagles can choose to continue to be a cog in the machine of misery and dismay that Philadelphia sports fans live under with their cloud of, we can't have nice things. In fact, I think Philly sports fans, somebody should probably go to the trademark office and patent that and make that into t-shirts. Because honestly, it's absolutely ridiculous how often I hear Philly sports fans say that. We can't have nice things. If the Eagles lose, what's going to happen is you're just going to feed into that negative energy. You're just going to give fuel to the fire for all the haters and all the people out there who never thought anything of you. This is the Eagles' opportunity to rise above that. Rise above they didn't play anyone this year, even though everyone's schedule can be ripped apart and nitpicked entirely across the league. People who have doubts about Jalen Hurts. People who have doubts about Nick Sirianni. People who have doubts about Jonathan Gannon. On and on and on. To me, there's a very simple equation to winning the game tomorrow. 3 keys that if the Eagles do it, I guarantee you they will win. Number 1, play defense. I know it sounds simple, but for some reason for this team at times this year, they have been erratic defensively. There have been times that Jonathan Gannon has come out and had to adjust in game to the point where even his own head coach has criticized him for taking too long to adjust at times. There have been games this year where the Eagles have been straight up dominant. In fact, there were 7 games where the Eagles defense allowed fewer than 300 total yards. And in 3 other games, they didn't allow any more than 310 total yards. That means that 10 of the 17 regular season games, the Eagles defense played really, really, really good. And guess what? They won all 10 of those games. The only games that they lost were the 3 games that they allowed, not just turnovers, but more than 310 total yards. I don't think that's a coincidence. So to me, the number 1 key for this game is the defense. I'm not buying into this horse manure that Jalen Hurts and his shoulder. Stop. You would have beat the Saints if Gardner Minshew and the Eagles offense didn't play like trash and you let Andy Dalton have one of the greatest first quarters in his entire life. The Eagles should have won the Saints game, didn't win it, to their detriment, to their embarrassment, and to the fans crying all the way home because they just got beat by one of the worst teams in the NFL this year. Now, every team has a bad loss on their schedule, okay? I'm not naive about that. I'm not going to sit here and pound my chest and act like the Eagles are some exception to a rule, okay? What I'm doing is I'm pointing out a pattern. I'm pointing out a situation where there's a pattern of this or that happening. For example, the Dallas loss to Washington the last week of the season was really bad. And their loss to Tampa the first week of the season was pretty ugly as well. By the way, the team that you're playing tomorrow night, the Giants, I mentioned teams with bad losses. You could argue it's a coin flip between the Eagles' loss and the Lions' loss, which was worse for the Giants. So everyone's got a bad loss. But the Saints had more than 310 total yards in that game. Number one key, Eagles defense, you got to show up. You got to get the job done. You got to own the trenches. You got to take them out. Dictate the game. Because number two, the Eagles need to get back on the big play train. This team had a lot of big plays this year. And we saw that Jalen Hurts, his deep ball is not impacted by that shoulder issue that he's recovering from. So get back to the big play. Get some slants and go deep. Get some sluggo routes. Just get some. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, Quez Watkins. You got to get the big plays. You can't dink and dunk the entire way down the field, because the only way that works is if you consistently get first downs. And the one thing that we saw with the Giants and their defense against the Vikings was they limited the Vikings' abilities to get first downs, which kept the Vikings from having sustained drives. And the third key to this game, Nick Sirianni, Shane Steichen, and Jonathan Gannon. If those three guys coach to win instead of coaching for ego, they will win this game. I don't care what the game plan is going in on Saturday night. If there is a moment in time where you start seeing that your game plan isn't working, Sirianni, Steichen, and Gannon, suck it up, grow up, be a man, and make the adjustment, and don't wait till the second half or the third or fourth quarter to make the change. Because you know what? We've already seen enough times this year when the Eagles took too long to make adjustments, it was to their detriment. They almost lost the Lions game. They lost the Saints game. And don't forget the Colts game, that was way too close for comfort. Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Being brought to you by my friends over at Jenkins & Sons. Yes, with Jenkins, one call does it all. No need to call the drain guy, the heater guy, or the plumbing guy. Listen, for leaks, stoppages, renovations, water heaters, boilers, gas furnaces, new heating and air installation, service and maintenance, just call 609-641-6262 and visit them online at jenkinsandsons.com. We'll break down the full slate coming up next. Not one, not two, not three, but four playoff games this weekend. Andy McNamara joins me next on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle.
Hey, everybody, it's Mike Gill. Join me for an Eagles pregame party tomorrow from 5 to 7 at the legendary Landmark Americana in Glassboro. We'll have $3 Bud Light and Michelob Ultra drafts and bottles, $4 Kona Big Wave and Stella drafts, neutral pineapple, watermelon, vodka, seltzer cans, fun, games, Eagles, prizes, and more, leading you up to Eagles Giants. We'll watch the AFC game together. That's tomorrow from 5 to 7 at the Landmark Americana in Glassboro.
Start the new year in a new ride from Bridgeton Chevrolet Buick GMC. Lease a new 2022 Buick Encore Sport Utility, $299 a month, or lease a new 2023 GMC Acadia Sport Utility, $339 a month, and make no payments for 90 days. Plus, get the BAM Advantage, 2 years of scheduled no-cost maintenance. Start the new year in a new ride from Bridgeton Chevrolet Buick GMC. Better get to Bridgeton. We are professional grade. 36-month leases with $2,500 down. See dealer for details.
Hey, sports fans. Mike Ryan here. BlowoutWinner.com. The divisional round of the NFL playoffs is upon us, and my biggest move of the entire weekend is absolutely free right now on a 30-second recorded message. So call now, 800-416-7771. Once again, that's 800-416-7771. An NFC East showdown in the divisional round. Eagles, Giants. Absolutely love the game. This is my biggest move of the entire NFL playoffs, and it's free right now at 800-416-7771. That's 800-416-7771. Don't hesitate, guys. This is my biggest move of the entire weekend, and I'm sharing it with all. Giants, Eagles, blowout winner. Absolutely free. Call 800-416-7771.
Attention. This is a special alert for all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an overpriced auto warranty or no warranty coverage at all. Due to the increase of new and used car prices, repair costs, and the price of gas, people are keeping their cars longer than ever, which is why CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on covered auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can save thousands for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. You could save thousands on future auto repairs. Our specialists are standing by for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-615-7814. Vehicle Protection Plan pricing is at an all-time low. Plus, drivers who purchase this coverage today will receive rental car options, free roadside assistance, and free towing. Call 800-615-7814 now for your free quick quote. That's 800-615-7814. What do you have to lose? Call 800-615-7814 now. Again, 800-615-7814.
At Ocean First Bank, our first thought is you. We put you first in all we do. Community banking for a century. We treat you like your family. Whatever you need, whatever you dream, let's make it a reality. Ocean First Bank, putting you first.
Ring in the new year with a CD rate that, well, rates. For a limited time, lock in a 13-month term for 4.25% APY with as little as $10,000. Don't delay. Visit oceanfirst.com for complete details.
Whatever you need, whatever you dream, let's make it a reality. Ocean First Bank, putting you first.
Certain rules and restrictions apply. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
May old car problems be forgot in a brand new SUV.
Stop! You can't start the new year in an old car. Looking for some holiday cash? Then don't miss Matt Platt Nissan's Holiday Vehicle Buyback. It doesn't matter what you drive. AJ, the trade man, wants to buy your vehicle today. Regardless of the make, miles, condition, or situation, AJ will buy your ride for cash today. So treat yourself to a brand new Nissan Rogue. 0 down, 0 payments, 0 interest on every new Matt Platt Nissan Rogue.
It's on at Matt Platt Nissan.
Drive away with peace of mind, because only Matt Platt Nissan has a 4-day love it or leave it return policy. MattPlattNissan.com. Requalifications exist with approved credit. 2778 per thousand financed on in-stock 2023 Nissan Rogues. Not all will qualify. Go to MattPlattNissan.com for complete details or call 844-917-4758. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes. Expires 1/31/23. It's on at Matt Platt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike. Egg Harbor Township.
I guess one time isn't gonna kill me.
It's totally safe. We do this all the time.
There's no way these drugs are laced, right?
Trust me, you're gonna be fine.
I just need to forget everything.
It'll be fine.
A lethal dose of fentanyl is just 4 grains of sand. It can hide in any drug. So no matter what you and your friends think, what you can't see will kill you. Don't die to get high. Fentanyl is fatal. Get the whole truth at CamdenCounty.com/fentanyl.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
We'll get to your text and comments in just a bit. Tom and Margate. What was the other one that came in? Joey Dubs. We'll get to your text in more a little bit later in the hour at 609-403-0972. But right now, as promised, Andy McNamara, he's here. He's back. As we got 4 games this weekend, and we're going to break them all down here with Andy for another Football Friday here on 97.3 ESPN, brought to you by Jenkins & Sons Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Andy, welcome back. How you doing?
Go Birds! I'm wearing the green and white, baby. Let's go! I want some blood, baby. Come on. Blue blood. Let's go, Eagles. Come on. I want blue blood.
Before we get to specifically the Giants, I got to ask you, though, because before you jumped on the stream with me, you know, one of the things I talked about was I don't think it's a coincidence that while everyone else is talking about Jalen Hurts, and I'm completely over hearing about Hurts and his shoulder and all this stuff. Yeah. To me, there's one thing this team has done this year. They have 10 wins. Now think about that. How many wins do they have this year, Andy?
10.
They have 14.
Oh, I thought you were going by what you just said. 10. They're 14-3 total.
I said they had 10 wins this year. Yeah. Of the 14, where they allowed less than 310 total yards.
Oh.
Okay. All 3 losses, they had over 310 yards allowed. And yes, one of those games was to Andy Dalton in his perfect first quarter on New Year's Day. So to me, I think the number one key to this game, Andy, is actually defense and not offense.
I love it. I think it can be pretty and easier said than done. But the key factor to this game for the Eagles on defense really comes down to 2 names. Number 1, it's Saquon Barkley, and then it's Daniel Jones. Everybody else is just guys. They're just guys. You got receivers on paper, a bunch of no names, but it's working. Full credit to Brian Dable again. Like, Josh, come on. Like, never mind make the playoffs. That pretty much a clinch coach of the year. But win a playoff game, absolutely sensational. They're playing with house money now. They've exceeded expectations. You have to stop, or should I say contain, because I don't think you can stop, Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones. Make the key to this game, just like if you're playing Lamar Jackson, it's make Daniel Jones throw the football. And if you have to force a guy to throw the football, and you can do it, you can get him. The key, though, that Saquon Barkley, man, boy, is that guy back or what this full year? Shut everybody up.
We haven't seen Barkley run a ton in recent weeks. So is there a part of you, if you're the Giants and you say, look, there's no Avonte Maddox in this game. He's the only player ruled out. So they lose one of their more sure tacklers on the second level of the defense, second and third level. So do you almost try to see C.J. Garner-Johnson, who's not a great tackler, is better defender in pass coverage, right? If you go after him and say, Daniel Jones, Saquon, let's run at him and see what happens.
I think you have to. If you're the Giants, everything has to initially revolve around Saquon Barkley. And not to say the Eagles wouldn't respect Barkley, because of course they do, but you have to prove he can be effective, because then, of course, that opens everything else up, right? You get Barkley going early, then that's where you can open up the rest of the receivers. You can open everything else up because everyone is going to have to hone in even more on Saquon Barkley, also while spying Daniel Jones himself and his legs. So getting that run game, or extended run too, Jack, the little dink and dunk, right? Getting the ball into Saquon Barkley's hands, and for Daniel Jones to have those design run plays, having that success early, that's going to free everything up, and that's where you can go and challenge some of those other members of the secondary.
I know this is the second game of Saturday, so I know for people who are not Eagles or Giants fans, I understand that some of you out there are sitting there waiting for us to get to the games. We'll get to them in just a bit. But for Eagle and Giant fans who are everywhere, that's the largest. I know this is Eagles country in general, but Andy, when I'm telling you, Giants are solidly the number 2. in this
really?
area. Okay? They are a solid, strong number 2. And for those people out there, tell them, what are you looking for from this game the most tomorrow night?
I'm looking forward to seeing. Okay, so if I'm focusing on the Giants side, I want to see how this team, if this team, and we'll focus on offense, if this team can go beyond the Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones. And they got, look, last week, the Vikings, you can call them choke artists, and I said last week, Josh, and for a week, they're the fakest 13-4, whatever they were, and they were proven right. But the Giants did win that game. There's that X factor that you can't quite put your finger on. So if I'm a Giants fan, what I'm looking at is, okay, can I get Saquon Barkley going, however that looks, running, catching, combo of the two, and Daniel Jones, and then can I expand on that? And on top of that, from the other side, how am I going to be able to adjust? Now, the Eagles won both those games against the Giants. Now, week 8, we know week 18 they sat everyone, so take it for what you will. These are divisional games. How do you defend these weapons of the Eagles? 100% Jalen Hurts or not? Because the leg conversation comes in there too. The Eagles just have so many more weapons. So for the Giants defense, I think this is a huge test. How do you delegate A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders, Jalen Hurts and his legs, and Boston Scott, who almost always seems to get a touchdown against the Giants? Like, it's just like there's a lot going on. But the Giants, Josh, look, it's that one of those cases you can't necessarily put your finger on it from a statistic, but they get it. They believe, and they're playing loose. They lose, who cares? No one expects them to win. They're playing loose.
By the way, Boston Scott is either plus 370 or plus 320 anytime touchdown, whatever book you want to use.
Oh, I got him at plus 280. Dang, I should have waited. Rats. I picked that up. I forget what the stat is, but there's something like almost every single time he plays, like to a man, he gets a touchdown. I'd have to look it up, but it's like almost every single time he gets a touchdown in some way, shape, or form.
Do you think the Giants can cover the spread? The spread right now is 8 and 7.5.
Yeah. So with this case, I think if I'm envisioning this game, this is how I feel it will go. I think it will feel like the Eagles are in charge for the whole game, but the score won't reflect it. The Giants keep coming back, keep it close, keep it close. And remember, this is a divisional game. You see, it doesn't matter if the teams stink. If they're divisional opponents and you know them, quite often they are closer than expected. So that 7.5, 8 line, if I'm putting some money down, I would say, Eagles money line, but that's probably not going to pay too well. And the Giants to cover. I think the Giants do cover. Eagles win, but like I'm feeling sort of like a 3 to 6 range from me because it's a division game, and the Giants have just been, in general, so good.
By the way, the exact number is, so in 8 games versus the Giants, Boston Scott has 9 rushing touchdowns and 1 receiving touchdown.
There you go.
So 10 total touchdowns in 8 games for Boston Scott. And literally, I'm not kidding, according to Pro Football Reference, he doesn't have anywhere close to that versus any other team in his career. In fact, the only other team he has more than 1 rushing touchdown against is Washington and Detroit, and that is it.
Put the money down, folks. There you go. Come on, Boston Scott. It's perfect. It works.
I don't know what it is. It's like
So
the most
weird.
ridiculous thing in the world. By the way, he has no receiving touchdowns versus any other team except for the Giants.
Isn't it weird? And you can't justify that. Why? It just works. So heck, that's another great pay. I put a couple bucks down.
So I believe we're both picking the Eagles, right?
Yes, I'll pick Eagles to win, Giants to cover.
Okay. Yeah, I got the same thing. I've been saying all week, I think the Giants can cover this game.
Yeah.
But I think the Eagles win 28-21 kind of game. Because guess what? That covers.
Exactly. That covers, and that goes to my pattern of the Eagles are in control, but the Giants hang around. This is going to be respectable. We're not going to see them get blown out.
No, I don't think, honestly, really quick, I don't think any of the games this weekend are blowouts. Do you?
I don't. I think the one that has the chance to be the most is Kansas City Jaguars, but I don't think it will be. I feel the Jags do cover that 9. I think they're as well coached as anybody, and they're feeling it as well. Very similar storyline to the Giants. No one thought anything of this team. Never mind make the playoffs. Never mind win a game. So you do that. Like, again, they got nothing to lose. They're playing loose. Same storyline with the Giants. And you're playing a Chiefs team that, obviously is very good, but not as dominant as they've been in years past.
I mean, listen, you and I both said take the Jags money line last week, and at halftime wasn't looking so good. But hey, it paid off, right?
I know. I was like, laying low in the Twitter weeds, and then it popped up like, ha! I did it. And if I was wrong, I wouldn't have said anything. That's how it works.
Yeah, it's like the scene from The Boys where what's his name? When he kills all those people and he realizes people are starting applauding for him, he's like, "Oh wait a minute, they're applauding for me." Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right, we're still here. All right.
That's all the memes I was trying to find out what that show is called.
It's called it's on Amazon Prime. Yeah.
It's on. I gotta watch it. The guy's face is super weird. Like, is it CGI? Like, his face is really
No,
weird.
that's real. That's real.
It's like a clay face. It's off-putting, but I want to see it.
Yeah. So I'll fully admit I haven't gotten all the way through yet. Because it's one of those shows where I was telling somebody recently, the episodes are too long. Like, to me, like, I don't mind a long episode if it's like, there's like stuff going on and you're keeping me engaged in the story. I feel like they just drag each episode out. And it's just like, if you would have made it maybe like 15 minutes less per episode, it'd be easier for me to just like power through, you know? Like, Cobra Kai, like, you don't care how long the episode is. You're just like, boom, 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 boom. And you realize you're 6 episodes and you lost half your day.
and that's your day. And that's fine.
And it's like, man, that Johnny Lawrence has got me suckered into this show.
I got to get back into Cobra Kai. It was just by fluke. I just stopped watching it by no means, but I hear Dr. Britt Baker from AEW's in an episode or two.
I think that's season 4, actually.
Okay.
So.
Keep an eye.
It's either season 3 or season 4. The show definitely takes some interesting twists. Let's just leave it at that. I don't want to give away too much. But back to Jags and Chiefs.
Yeah.
Is this got to be the favorite coaching matchup though, right? I mean, Doug versus Andy here.
Yes, I think from the total opposite, the lopsided side is Mike McCarthy versus Kyle Shanahan. We'll get into that later. That's like the polar opposite. That's like a bumbling play the Benny Hill song and he's like fumbling with his sheet. He can't find his watch and whatever. Right. But yeah, this one, this is fantastic because you got Doug Peterson, totally revamped. We've talked about it many times, right? Deprogrammed, and reprogrammed Trevor Lawrence after his rookie year. And Andy Reid, hello, we know all about him and what a tremendous job he does in the team around him. So the Jags have done so much with such a pedestrian offense on paper. And again, the similarities to the Giants jump out again. If you just look at the rosters, you're like, okay. Like there's not. My mind obviously goes to the fantasy side first. If I'm looking at the Jags on paper overall, I'm like, I see a bunch of WR3s and a tight end that doesn't do much until recently. And so now you got this Jaguars team whose defense is underrated. And now it really becomes to me, the big storyline to this is, can Trevor Lawrence clean up? Because if you can't play, the Chargers are horribly coached. You play any other team than that, 4 interceptions, you're done. Come on. So you got to cut down on the turnovers. You don't want Patrick Mahomes to get the ball any more times than you have to. If you can cut down on those, clean that up, you got a shot. At least I think they're going to cover, but you got a shot.
Do you have a favorite play for this game? Because I know what mine is. What's yours favorite?
You know what? When I was looking at this one, I wasn't really like, if I'm looking at it, my favorite play is probably the over-under, taking the under and the Jags to cover. Not really a prop on a player specifically. I think we know, you look at Kansas City, you know the main event guys, right? It's jotted out pretty well. For the Jags, it's pretty spread around. So a prop play, no, but I'm taking the under and I'm taking the Jags to cover.
I think this game hits the over, honestly, because I feel like it's going to be like a 32-24 kind of game, and that goes over the 52-53. No, my favorite play is over on the Trevor Lawrence interceptions. I think he throws more interceptions in this game.
Ooh. Oh, and what's the over at? Like 2?
Well, if you get it at just the over-under at half an interception.
Oh!
It's
yeah.
I mean, it's minus 150. I haven't seen exactly what it is for more than that, but I'm sure that it's minus 150 just for the half half an interception. Can you imagine how juicy it is if it's 1.5? Like,
oh yeah. You know what? I will give you one for it. I'm going to take the over on the passing yards. Last I checked, I think it was 248 for Trevor Lawrence. I think it was 248-ish around there. I'll take the over on Trevor Lawrence for that, for passing yards.
Trevor Lawrence, 248, 250 are the two main ones.
Because he's going to have to be throwing the ball. Like,
you're right, yeah. The only reason why I say stay away from Mahomes is because they can win with Mahomes throwing for like 298 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely they can. Absolutely. And you can be creative.
I forget the stat, but I think they said like Mahomes has the most touchdown passes this year of like, of like the least number of yards, or it's like, 10 or less yards, something like that. Like it's some crazy stat like that.
Okay. That's going to be one of the more underrated, interesting games. I hope it plays out, because there is a way, of course, that the Chiefs just stomp them, right? There's definitely, that wouldn't shock me per se, but I do think it's going to be closer than some people think.
Breaking down every game this weekend with Andy McNamara here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN at AndyMC81 on Twitter. Bengals, Bills. I have not been shy about this all week. This was the one game that I completely gave it away. Like, in our business, we're supposed to like tease and tease and tease the end of the week. I was like, nope, I'm letting the cat out of the bag. Give me Bengals money line. I believe that this team thinks the world is against them. I think that their coach thinks that no one believes in them. Joe Burrow says that he's never an underdog in his life. He told that to the media this week. I mean, this team, I think, is going to look at Buffalo and say, you just let the Dolphins with Skylar Thompson score 31 points on you.
Wow.
And you think you're going to beat us? Like, we went to the Super Bowl last year, dude.
Yeah. Boy, people taking the Bills to cover that 14 last week. Cue Krusty the Clown. Ugh.
That was a loss for me. I'll admit it.
Oh boy, Skyler. Yeah, you're definitely right. It was sloppy ball by the Bills. And for the Bengals, to your point, Josh, in sports, what's the cliche? Chip on the shoulder. It's usually BS and it's made up. Not with this, because you're right. The world, whether you're a casual football fan or a diehard, if you don't have skin in this game, the world is rooting for the feel-good Cinderella story Buffalo Bills. They're going to trot out in some capacity, I'm sure, DeMar Hamlin, as they should, for the inspiration. You're going to be playing that card. Every single person wants the Bills to win, except if you're heels like us, then you're rooting for the other guy. But they want, and the Bengals know this. And so they can they can say, look at all these articles. Look at all, nobody wants you to win. Not just Josh difference. Not just people don't think you'll win. They don't want you to win. Oh, and by the way, you're the defending AFC champs, and the NFL fluffed you away. We're like, hey, you'll take a coin toss. Nah, no home game for you. It's going to affect it. Sorry, Cincinnati. You are getting dumped on from all levels. And if you heard Joe Mixon's comments, that guy's always kind of mad, and he was extra mad. Like, he's got issues. We know. He's an angry dude, and he's more mad now. And I think that 5.5 is telling, because Vegas knows that 5.5 for Buffalo at home, that's not that much. And the Bills are playing sloppy ball. I think it goes like this. If Cincinnati hangs on, old rope-a-dope, you slip off the ropes, you're absorbing those punches. If you can get out of the first quarter tied or within like 3 points, I think you win this ball game. If they come out like they did with the Pats and Nyheim Hines runs one back to the house to start the game, you might be in trouble.
I also like Josh Allen to throw interceptions in this game too.
I think so too, man. That Bengals defense underrated, just like the whole team. DJ Reader in the middle is no joke. Like I saw him play the Browns, man. That dude's no joke. Those corners, sneaky good. And then you have. I also think your offense has more variety than the Buffalo Bills. The Bills, it's Stephon Diggs, some guys, and they're not going to use enough Devin Singletary.
They can't run the ball outside of Josh Allen. They don't run the ball very well.
That's it. Exactly. So it's Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and some guys. But for Cincinnati, if you're the Buffalo Bills and defending, Jamar Chase, it's like, you're in the ice cream parlor. Jamar Chase flavor. Oh, they're out of that. T. Higgins is there. Tyler Boyd is there. The tight ends are just guys, but their possession, they can bust out once in a while. You got an angry Joe Mixon and Sam Pirine you can even pop in if you fancy it. So they have so many more options than the Bills have. So I do think it's going to be very interesting to see. And I'm looking at the weather. Looks to me, it just looks like overcast and like really cold, like right around freezing. I don't know what the wind is, but I don't think from what I've heard that it's supposed to be anything like, blizzards or anything like that.
Do you have a favorite play here?
I think when I'm looking at this, I'm going to take for this one, I'm going to take the over on the 49. I have over under at 49. I'm going to take the over on the points. And I think for Joe Burrow, what's the passing at that? What's the update passing for Burrow? Do you have it there?
Let me double check here. I got to scroll down. Burrow is at passing yards 277.5.
Oh, you know what? That went up a little bit. Yeah, it's a little dicey.
Some books are at 280 actually.
280? Yeah. Earlier in the week, it was a bit lower. I kind of liked it better there. Nah, okay. I'm not going to take the over on that one then.
Well, how about I do this for you? If you take the Bengals against the spread at 5.5, you parlay it with the over 254.5 for the passing yards for Burrow, your odds are plus 195.
I'll take that. Okay. Yeah, I'll take that. This is going to be an emotional game. If you're the Bengals, Josh, I think if you survive that first quarter, you're right there. And especially if you have the lead, you got to take the emotion. It's high. You got to get that out. And if that's out, then you got a real shot at this thing. But if Buffalo comes out and they strike quick a couple times, I don't know. I don't think they give up the that lead because, man, that Bills team, still sloppy or not, Josh Allen is your real deal gunslinger. That's another cliche, but he's really it. He'll throw 3 interceptions. He's like, cool, I'll pass for 4. Maybe I'll run in a couple. He doesn't care. He legit doesn't care. So it's such a great battle. Allen versus Burrow, two of the great young quarterbacks. Love the rivalry.
Before we run out of real estate, give me Cowboys, 49ers. The spreads are either 3.5 and 4. The over-under right now is 46.5.
The 49ers, and something keeps telling me to count out Brock Purdy and something, but he keeps not doing it, right? Like he keeps going. And so I keep thinking, I'm like, okay, well, this it has to strike midnight at some point, but it just hasn't yet. And this is where we come back to the conversation at the start. If this game is how the books put it, at Niners at 4-point favorites, if this is a close game, it comes down in part to coaching. And by God, I will take Kyle Shanahan's mind over Mike McCarthy every day, twice on game day. Like, come on. That system, how good Christian McCaffrey is, we talked about it the other week. Most yak yards for the yards after catch for the 6th straight season for the Niners this year in the NFL. This year, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, 2 and 3. You just get the ball in there. Now, this could come down to, this could be sneaky because both these defenses are real good. So who blinks? Can you force Brock Purdy into mistakes? Can you force that Shanahan system out of its comfort zone? Hasn't been able to be done yet. So we'll see. I think the 49ers do win it. And, that 4-point seems just about right. I'm staying away from, personally, I'm going to stay away from this game as far as the spread and the money line type of deal. If you fancy the Cowboys, though, I'm seeing plus 165. So, if you think the Cowboys are going to win, I just think the Niners are on that type of special run, Josh. What about you?
I just like the under. That's the only thing I like. I mean, I like the 49ers to win, but I haven't been able to make up my mind about how much they're going to win by. I just like the under 46.5 because I think this is going to be a drag them out fight. I think people are trying to find reasons to not believe in the 49ers defense. Yeah. And I don't want to be one of those people.
Yeah. You know what I do like in this one? First TD score, Christian McCaffrey plus 500. I don't mind that. That's, that makes a lot of sense. Well, it makes sense from, if you're the 49ers, you want to set the tone. Who are you setting the tone with? You're setting the tone with Christian McCaffrey. So that plus 500 really leaps out. Anytime touchdown, guys like, CeeDee Lamb at plus 165 is pretty nice. Even like a Tony Pollard plus 140, Zeke Elliott plus 150. Not bad. Dalton Schultz went off the other week plus 220 for an anytime. There's some pretty good, if you're looking at this game and you sprinkle a little bit on some anytime touchdown or that first TD score with McCaffrey, maybe you get lucky.
He's Andy McNamara at AndyMC81 on Twitter. He is cheering for the Philadelphia Eagles tomorrow night. You got any shows this weekend?
Yeah, got one. It's released actually just a few minutes ago on YouTube at SickPodBrowns, on Twitter at AndyMC81. We go through the AFC North, but for the listeners, we also go through some rankings, some NFL best bets as well. We give some more bets, props, and picks from all over the place getting ready for this one. So check that out. And if you missed it last week, my interview is still up there with Jerry the King Lawler, wrestling legend. That was so much fun. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's a really fun interview.
Yeah, you got Jerry Lawler one week, and the next week you get Jim Schwartz,
Jim Schwartz comes in the next week. How you like that? I love Jimmy. Well, I should ask you real quick before. Like, yeah. I love the hire. I'm all in. He started with the Browns. I love the defensive mind. Am I missing anything? Should I be concerned of any way?
You shouldn't be concerned, but I will warn you that people don't understand his defense, so they will misunderstand what they're trying to execute, because his entire defense is built on two things. The wide 9 front, where he basically tells the guys, I just go blitz the quarterback. I don't really care about anything else. And the other side is you have to have man corners. If you don't have man corners, you're cooked. You're done.
Yeah, and the Browns, I think they do. So I'm very excited. They need better D tackles, though. So, no, very excited about Jim Schwartz.
Andy, good stuff today. Talk to you later.
All right, buddy. Go Birds!
And of course, our conversation with McNamara being brought to you by Jenkins & Sons. One call does it all. 609-641-6262. Online at jenkinsandsons.com for all your new heating and air installation, service, and maintenance. Douglas air conditioning systems, water heaters, boilers, gas furnaces, and more. That's jenkinsandsons.com. Your text messages next on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM. And 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle.
This is the radio home for Eagles playoff football. The Eagles host the New York Giants in the divisional round of the NFC playoffs tomorrow night.
The Boston Scott, who runs in, standing up, untouched.
This offensive line just blow the Giants off the football.
Free-game coverage starts at 7 p.m. with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 8:15. This is where the Philadelphia Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's official Eagles station.
5, 4, 3, 2. Wait, stop the countdown. It's the final days of the Kia Season of Giving Back sales event. So bring any trade to Matt Blatt Kia and drive home in a brand new Kia, even with 0 down and 0% APR financing for 36 months. Don't see your new Kia on the lot today? That does not mean you can't drive it home tomorrow. With peace of mind, Matt Blatt Kia's exclusive 4-day love it or leave it return policy. So if you have a job clearing $350 per week at Matt Blatt Kia, you are virtually approved. So why pay more when you can pay 0% with 0 down?
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
Rate qualifications exist with approved credit. $27.78 per thousand financed on in-stock 2023 Sorento Hybrid. Not all will qualify. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer except for licensing, registration, and taxes. Expires 1/31/23. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 and Tom's River.
GMS Law is proud to celebrate 50 years in business.
Hi, I'm Rob Stachini, and I'm a certified civil trial attorney at GMS Law. As one of the largest and most established litigation law firms in Southern New Jersey, we're committed to our roles as legal advisors, counselors, and litigators. It's our belief that the client comes first, all the time, every time.
Make the right call to GMS Law. Call us at 609-344-7131. That's 609-344-7131. Or visit us online at gmslaw.com.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
The Eagles are headed to the playoffs. Congratulations to the entire Eagles organization. It's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. We're proud to be the official caterer of the Philadelphia Eagles First Trust Bank Club and the Eagles training camp. Chicky and Pete's is ready. Come join us with the best fans on the planet for all the Eagles playoff action and the best in-game experience anywhere. Ice cold draft beer, all of your Chicky and Pete's favorites, and of course, world famous crab fries. Perfect for Eagles playoffs. Let's go Eagles. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Come join us for some new tasty seasonal favorites. Try our handcrafted garlic truffle burger, topped with garlicky truffled mushrooms, arugula, and truffle aioli. Or enjoy our unique spicy Thai peanut wings, classic or boneless. And pair any of our seasonal menu items with a specialty cocktail, like the chocolate raspberry martini or our cranberry margarita. And don't forget our world-famous crab fries, chickies and peas.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest-rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
With GMF financing, qualified buyers excludes Corvette.
It's back! By popular demand, Bennett Chevrolet has brought back GM supplier employee pricing for everyone. That's right. Get to Bennett now. Pick out your new Chevy and you'll pay what our supplier employees pay and not 1 penny more. This is truly amazing because other dealers are still charging MSRP or more. But Bennett isn't like most dealers. We've got GM supplier employee pricing for everyone on your new Chevy. Think about how much you'll save with Bennett when you pay GM supplier employee pricing compared to the other dealers charging MSRP and above. Plus, with rates as low as 2.99%, you'll save even more. And we're still paying record prices for trades towards any pre-owned in stock. Right now, get a minimum $7,000 even if your trade is total junk. Yes, at least $7,000. Imagine how much we'll pay for a trade that actually runs. And wait till you deal with our non-commissioned sales team. They're paid based on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. Find new roads at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
All right, let's wrap up the show with your guys' thoughts and comments. Thanks, everybody who messaged into the show. 609-403-0973 is the text board, and your DMs in the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Shout out to Tom and Margay. Hope you also have a good weekend. Cheers. Go Eagles. Tom's also a big Nova guy, so I know he's dialed into Nova versus St. John's. That game's tonight. Joey Dubs sent a message in and says, Josh, you're not making any sense. Sorry, but the Eagles finished in first place this year. You got to suck that up. Not fully sure what you meant there, Joey Dubs. I don't know what to tell you. I'm just out here giving you facts and information. You know, if I'm not making any sense, then, you know, maybe you just don't like what I'm saying, or maybe we just have a disagreement on how we view the game. So, but still appreciate you listening in. Jeff in Ocean City says, Josh, what's your best play of the weekend? Well, I'll review it again. I love the anytime touchdown for Boston Scott in this game. Like I said, the guy scored 10 touchdowns in 8 games in his career against the Giants. I mean, you know, feels like a pretty good, but I do also love the over on the interceptions for both Josh Allen and for Trevor Lawrence. They're both playing teams that can get interceptions this week. And I wouldn't be surprised if Trevor Lawrence has 2 and Josh Allen has 2 interceptions. So, you know, any of the books that have, you know, the over 1.5, and you know, I would just jump on that. I like that. I do like the Cowboys 49ers under. I gotta stick with it. I think the Giants cover. I think they lose like 28-21 to the Eagles. I think it's going to be that kind of game. I think the Giants make a game of it. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. If it is a blowout, then the Giants probably really messed up something. Thanks again to Andy McNamara for joining the show. Thanks to all of you who messaged in throughout the show. Don't forget, you can listen to Eagles football coverage begins at 7 p.m. Metal Race Mike Quick on the call here on your home for Eagles football in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN. The Flyers and Sixers this weekend on our sister station, Rock 104.1 on the Rock 104.1 app. You can listen to the Flyers games at 7 Saturday and Sunday. Don't forget, Mike Yell will be tomorrow from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Landmark Americana in Glassboro. $3 Bud Light and Michelob Ultra, drafts and bottles. And of course, we're giving away Eagles merch and more. 5 to 7 at the Americana, Landmark Americana in Glassboro. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night. Have a great night, everybody.
Saturday morning in the locker room with Billy Schweim. It's our Eagles playoff pregame show. Former three-time All-Big Ten linebacker Brad Quast joins me in the studio. The sportsbook consigliere Dave Sherapan checks in from Las Vegas with the latest odds, brought to you by Dino's Subs and Pizza of Margate. Next, we will hear from Fox 29 News sports anchor Scott Grayson with his keys to the game, brought to you by Van Brill Pools. Finally, my fantasy football guru Brian Hartley checks in, brought to you by Padula Masonry. Big show, big game. It's the locker room with Billy Schweim, Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN.